people who spent an entire working lifetime choosing to forego consumption because they decided they would save and they would have a little bit of income in their retirement, and now they have no income because they earn nothing on their savings, but they do watch as it gradually gets eroded, even by a low level of inflation, when they have no income from it. We have exacerbated the problems of underfunded pension plans, and we've got distortions in financial markets. So these are all the things that have been occurring, I would argue, and continue to occur. And yet what worries me perhaps even more is the point that Senator Corker was getting to, I think, which is what happens when this morphine drip starts to end. At some point, sometime, this is going to be, we're going to move away from this, I assume. I think everybody believes that. And the assumption seems to be that the markets will behave very benignly when that occurs. And yet we've seen I think some worrisome glimpses that maybe that's not a safe assumption. Back in June, the mere suggestion that some of the members of the Fed might be contemplating stepping back a little earlier, and 10-year Treasury backs up 100 basis points. Yesterday, the release of your testimony and the equity markets rally. Doesn't this feel like there's something a little artificial here? And isn't it possible that while you have many tools available to begin and unwind, to retreat from this, that the markets may not respond very well, and that we could end up creating a real problem as we try to exit from this?
So, Senator, you made a number of different points, and I think the first point you mentioned is that low rates, in a way, give rise to fiscal irresponsibility, that it's takes the pressure off Congress.
Yeah.
You know, we've established low rates in order to get the economy moving, which is Congress's mandate to us. I think it's important for Congress to recognize that as the economy recovers and both short and long-term rates move up, a situation in which the government's funding costs remain as low as they are, if we're successful in achieving our goal of getting the economy back on track, this is a very temporary situation. And so I believe members of Congress should be looking out a few years to a time when rates are going to be higher. Low interest rates harm savers. It's absolutely true. And this is a burden on people who are trying to survive on the income from a CD. There's not much that they can get. But, you know, if you think about how can we get rates back up to normal, I guess I would argue that we can't have normal rates unless the economy is normal. At the moment, we have a lot of saving and not very much investment. And there are fundamental reasons here why rates are low. So I think pursuing a policy of low rates to get the economy moving will best enable us to normalize policy and to get rates back to normal levels over time. In terms of jumps in rates, we will, as the economy recovers, need to withdraw the monetary accommodation we've put in place. And we will make every effort to do so at a pace that's appropriate to continue the recovery and to maintain price stability and to communicate that plan to markets. But as we've seen, and as you indicated, it is possible for rates to jump. It was not just true now, but in previous tightening cycles, like the one we had from '94 and 1995, where long rates moved up over the span of 6 months over 100 basis points. We've tried to make sure the financial system is more resilient. In our stress tests, we have tested and continue to do so in this round to make sure that banks are appropriately managing interest rate risk. And that is a risk that, you know, we will try to mitigate, but it is inherent in any tightening cycle.
Mr. Chairman, I know I'm running out of time. Just 2 quick points I'd like to make. One is I'd like to express my concern, which is the exact opposite of the concern that was raised by Senator Merkley. which is, I think, the danger of the implementation of the Volcker rule is actually going to, it could be too restrictive and increase the cost of especially corporate bond issuers. I think the decision by Congress to exempt U.S. Treasuries was an implicit acknowledgement that when you ban proprietary trading in those instruments, you make them less liquid and more expensive for issuers. I'm told that the next rule might very well also exempt other sovereign issuers, which is another implicit acknowledgement of this problem. This is a problem for corporate issuers in America, and I'm very concerned that we not unnecessarily raise their cost of borrowing. And the last point I would make is I'm deeply concerned about the consolidation that's happening in small banks, the lack of new small banks. As you know, we used to routinely launch sometimes hundreds of new community banks. I'm told by the FDIC there's not a single new community bank has been launched since 2010. The regulatory compliance for institutions that have no systemic risk to the economy is way overboard, and I hope you will make an effort to diminish that burden.
I promise to do so, Senator.
All right, thank you.
Senator